Alright, so after we've created our rock debris and our Z depth paths, we can go ahead and composite this in After Effects. So let's go ahead and create a new comp. So we're just gonna import our, I'm just gonna import my background into the comp. This is the image sequence that we created from Blender, and I'm gonna import my Z depth and my actual rock into the comp here. So we'll call this rock, and we'll call this Z depth. Okay. First thing we need to do is track the scene here. So let's come over here, shut the eye off, and we'll set this to full res, and we'll make a new null object. So land new null object, and we'll call this tracking data. Okay, and let's put Mocha, and let's go into Mocha. Alright, so here we are in Mocha, so we need to track our scene here. So what we can do is just track this floor because it's very symmetrical. It's pretty plain and it's going to be easy to track. So just come here and just do like a large shape here. And right click to close it. Let's make sure we've got this plane surface turned on. And once we've done that, we can just track forward. And it will just start tracking the plane, and then just give it some time, and then it should take less than 5 minutes. Okay, so once we've got our nice tracking data all tracked, we can go ahead and let's go ahead and rename this as tracking floor. And then what we just actually do is just close it and make sure we'll save the file. Okay, and then we come down here to tracking data. We can go ahead and create track data, and we'll use the transform data, and we'll select our tracking floor and hit OK. And then we'll apply it to our tracking data null object and hit apply export. There we go. And now if we take a look at this, you can see that our null object is nice and well tracked. Okay, so we can just forget about the scale because we don't really need that. All we just need is the position and rotation. Okay, so if we turn back on our rock, we can go and have a look that it is perfectly tracked. Okay, so let's go ahead and import some of these elements here. So I might import my smoke element. Now these elements were from Video Copilot, so the Actions Essentials 2-pack. So if you have any other stock footage, you can just go ahead and use that. And I might add in my dirt charge here, so maybe number 1 and 2. So just select both of them and import it here. Let's focus on the dirt charge number 1 first. So if we solo this, we can see here that it's going okay. I just want to draw a mask around this so that we don't get any of this edge piece here. We'll hit M and we'll subtract that and hit F and feather out maybe like 15 pixels. And we'll just slide it up just a bit like that. Okay, and we'll pick whip it to the tracking data. So now that it is following our tracking data, and what I want to do is put it below our Z depth. So let's have a look here. So I want it to happen right at the contact of the floor. So maybe around here. Switch to half res. So like about there. It's pretty good. So I'll just position up here and maybe scale it a little bit down here like that. Okay, so we'll leave it around there. So I'm just focusing on the timing of this. So maybe a little bit. So that looks pretty good. Now for our Z depth, we want to control the black and white. So we want to put an exposure effect. And if we turn up the gamma, we can see we're actually crushing some of that white in. And then we just turn up the exposure, we can see we're controlling the distance here. So I'm just going to crush some of this, expose that up. And if we duplicate it, we can even adjust this a bit. So like that, somewhere in the middle. Okay, and then we can set the track matte to Luma matte. And now check this out. We can see that it's being cut in between the rock debris that we created. So that's a really good tip. And we can even adjust like the distance and all that kind of stuff, and just maybe just put it in somewhere like that. It's pretty good. Okay, and let's just go ahead and color correct our dirt charge here. So we'll add a tint, and maybe we'll just drop the color. It's maybe about 65%. So as it contacts, we want it to shoot out the so I want to start a bit later. Just want to cut it. So something like that is pretty good. Okay, and be sure to save your file. Alright, so we can do the same for our puff smoke and dirt charge. So we can do Control D for our Z depth, and maybe put it up here. And for our smoke element, let's add the tint effect. We just want this to be black and white, and let's just put this under. Let's just move it along here, and we can even time stretch it. So time stretch, and maybe make it a little faster. So maybe about 80%. And then just something like that is pretty good. And then we'll pick with this to our tracking data. And we'll set the track matte to Luma matte. Okay. And oh, before we do that, let's just cut off this edge here. And let's hit M, subtract that. And we'll feather out maybe like 10 pixels. Okay. And we'll just place it around up here. And we'll even scale it down just a bit. And just put this up here. Like that. And we'll set the track matte to Luma matte. And we can even adjust the distance for this. So we want the smoke to happen around this point. So we'll just cut it here. So hit Alt, and then we can just do bracket. And then we'll just cut it at that point in time. And let's have a look here. We can adjust our Z depth a bit. So something like that looks pretty good. So if we have a look at this, we want the opacity to increase. So let's go ahead and just grab the opacity for that. And we want it to slowly come on. So like maybe come up like that. Right, let's just do one more Z depth. So Control D and then just put on top. And let's just do the same for our initial dirt charge. So let's just turn this on and let's have a look at this. So just push this up a bit. Let's draw a mask underneath here. And hit M. Subtract it. Feather it out. Maybe push this up a bit. Like that. And then we'll flip it so that the dust falls this way because our original dirt charge went that way. So we can just do that by making this -100. And we'll lock it. And then let's just position this somewhere about up here. It's pretty good. And then we'll just time it like that. And set the track mat to Luma mat. So okay, and we'll add a tint effect. We'll maybe drop it to like 70%. Like that. Okay. So let's just take a quick preview of this. Okay, let's check this out. Nice. Okay, so I might make my smoke a little slower actually. So I might just time stretch it and then put it back to 100 because it's going a little too fast. All right. Other than that, looks pretty good. So I might actually color code these. Make these yellow, and I'll make the background green. Okay, so let's add 2 adjustment layers. So Control Y, Control Y. Let's call this CC. Let's call this vignette. And actually, I want to crush some of this white because it's a little too bright. So make another adjustment layer, and we'll call this sunlight crush. Okay, so let's start with the vignette because it's fairly straightforward. You know the drill, guys. So just do our usual vignette here. Make this like 500. Just like that. And I'm just going to add a simple color correction effect because we don't really need anything complex to this. So I might just add a little bit of contrast to this. And I might take away some red and maybe add in some blue to the scene here. And put another tint on top and then drop that to like 15. Just to desaturate the colors. Okay, and for our sunlight crush, we can just do like a rectangle mask here. Just on top here. Hit F, feather it out, and let's grab the curves and just crush some of that white. Just a bit, not too much. Like that. Okay. Alright. So let's take another preview of this. Alright, let's check it out. Okay, not bad. One thing I forgot to note is that I forgot to pick whip this to our tracking data, so I'll just do that. And the smoke is still too fast, so I might actually slow it down. So let's maybe make this about 120, like that. Alright, so take a look at this, and yeah, everything's all good and well. All is within good tracking data. Okay. So that's pretty much it, guys, for the compositing stage. It's pretty simple setup. Majority of the work we did is in Blender. So yeah, have fun with it, guys. Mess around, adjust some of the physics, adjust the color, just go nuts. It doesn't even have to be a prism. It can be like a sphere, or if you want to really go nuts, you can go like any other shape you want to go. But I just went with a rectangular prism. That's all. Anyway, guys, my name's David. I hope you learned interesting techniques that you can use for your own creations. Please give a like if you like this video so people can find it. Subscribe if you want to see more, and be sure to hit that bell button to get the notifications so you won't miss an upload. And comment down below if you have any thoughts on this video tutorial or just have any questions in general. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video.